Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is my end of year special. This is obviously something that I do at the end of the year to talk about how my passion has developed, my favourite fragrances in the year, and giving a final summary and thoughts of the year as a whole. This year has been difficult for me personally, just because there's been that little that's excited me that it's hard to actually put this video together. I hope you can appreciate that, which is why this kind of list is limited. I'm sorry really if my enthusiasm this year has been lower, because I do feel a little bit jaded and a little bit hazed with the whole perfume world as a whole, and I know people get sick of me talking about synthetics, and I don't like to talk about them either really, but when I recognise something I do mention it, and maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should stop doing that, I don't know. But I speak from my heart, I'm very open, I just say what I feel. And if I don't like something, I share that, I say that I don't like it. There's been a lot of things that have really opened my eyes this year. Companies that I'm smelling that charge, for instance, Clive Christian charging $860 or $870 for a 75ml. I mean, just the fact that it's over $800 a bottle is insanity. And when you smell them, yeah, it smells okay, but they're kind of copies of other fragrances. They're not even original. They're not super luxurious, rare, precious materials. They're just okay fragrances. Yeah, they're not bad, but they're not amazing. They're certainly not worth 800 and whatever dollars. I mean, the profit margin there is a lot. Like, believe me. They're just ripping people off. It's a joke. It's not worth that amount of money. They're charging it because they can and because some people will pay for it. It's a statement. It's not because the juice is worth that amount of money. It's not. Believe me, it's definitely not. And that upsets me because I have integrity and morals and decency, and I see that, and I just see people taking the piss, and people that are very unfair and greedy and selfish and have no morals and no decency and no love for art or for the perfume. I think it's sacrilege. I think it's disgraceful, really. It upsets me that people do that. But I see that all over the place. For instance, Fuang Dang is another one that I did a video on recently where I smell them and I'm like, really? This is $460 a bottle for a 50ml? You're kidding me. Because they smell super synthetic and super artificial and fake and cheap. And it's not the fact that they're expensive that is the problem, it's the fact that there is no value provided. I'm not complaining at the cost if they provide value. And a lot of companies don't provide value, and I find it upsetting and kind of demoralizing. It just ruins the image of perfume and lowers the whole tone, and it's not a good energy. It just doesn't feel good. I feel like there's very few authentic good people in the world. I really do. In this kind of such a industry that makes so much money, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, is the perfume business. You know, there's very few genuine people. You know, one person that springs to mind as being genuine is Andy Tower. You know, he creates, although, you know, his fragrances haven't connected to me enough for me to want to buy them personally, I respect what he does, and I respect him, and I think he's cool. He's an artist, he paints beautifully, he creates affordable fragrances that, you know, aren't taking advantage of people. They're very fairly priced. He gives a good solid product. You might fall in love with some of his work. You know, for me, I don't own any of his work, but I appreciate that this is a good man. And there's not many of those. You know, he has the Towerville line, for example, which is even more affordable, simple packaging, well, no packaging really, very, very minimalist, simple bottle, simple label, brings the manufacturing cost down so he can sell to a cheaper price. You know, he thinks about people, and he's clever and genuine, and there's not many people like that in the world. This list is obviously very personal to me, so they're not recommendations for you to go out and buy. I'm not a salesman, I don't get paid, I'm not sponsored by anybody, I don't get gifted free bottles in exchange for positive reviews, I'm not affiliated or sponsored in any way by anybody, so anything mentioned in this video is because I love it and it's special to me. That's it, that's the only reason. So again, very personal to me. You might not share my opinion or my taste or my view on things 2017 has seen very few good releases in my opinion. It's hard to put this list together because there's been so few that's impressed me. We've had new releases from quite a few major brands that have been quite unimpressive to my taste at least. So, you know, there's not really a whole lot I can pick out here. So I'm going to mention just a few that I have thought this past year has been pretty good. First being from Nasamato, I tried Bara-Onda, although not one that I own and one that I wouldn't wear personally. I would recommend it, however, to other people. I think it was a good release. It smells of whiskey in the opening. It's a boozy kind of a fragrance. It's resinous, it's sweet, it's cozy for the winter, it's unisex, a man or a woman can wear it, but I think it's one of the better boozy fragrances. If you like whiskey and boozy scents, that is one of the better ones. Usually when we smell whiskey in a fragrance, to me they don't smell like whiskey at all. They're kind of generally kind of sweet, but it doesn't smell of whiskey. This actually does smell of whiskey in the opening, which is the reason why I personally wouldn't wear it. But I would, however, recommend it to someone interested in that kind of genre of scent. I think it is a good one to check out. Another brand that impressed me was Kenley from New York. They won't be everybody's taste, but I personally enjoyed them. My personal two favourites were Amora and Bourbon. Bourbon being a rich, boozy kind of woody vanilla, and Amora being a fruity kind of rose, quite sweet, more for a woman. I personally like Kenley's work and I think he's a very cool guy. I would recommend checking them out if you haven't. He's also a self-taught perfumer and I have a lot of respect for people who are self-taught. A brand that I checked out this year was Olfactive Studio. A couple of them impressed me. I will probably end up owning Still Life at one point, was my favourite from the line. Although performance not very good, it's still a nice zingy, refreshing, sparkly kind of summer fresh scent. It's a feel-good fragrance. It makes you feel good. It's energetic and lively and clean and sparkly. That one and a couple of others were quite interesting from that brand, so I enjoyed checking those out. I also liked how they delve into more curating scents around an image and a picture, a photograph specifically. I think that's a nice touch, and some of them reflected very well to the scent that I was smelling, to the image, which I thought was great. One of the most recent brands that I checked out was Beaufort London. I'm going to mention them briefly just because they were the most kind of different kind of fragrance that I've tried in the recent year. They're very avant-garde, unusual, kind of different, I guess, basically. They're not doing things the same as everybody else. You might not like them, they might not be very wearable, but I appreciate that they've done something different that doesn't smell like everything else. They're more unique, they're hard to wear, they're difficult, they're more artistic, I guess you can say. Like I say, more avant-garde, very unusual combinations. Notes listed like gunpowder, blood and metal, for instance. It's an unusual brand, but I like that they've done something different. And like I say, you might not find their scents very wearable, but I appreciate they're doing something different, and I think it's worth mentioning because, you know, a lot of people play it safe to just sell lots and make money. These seem to be more genuinely focused on doing something different and artistic, and I appreciate that. Another brand I feel is similar in a way because they make something a little bit different was Fort & Manley from Australia. Although again, not ones that I found connecting enough to immediately want to go and buy myself. It did feel like they were different. I'd not smelled anything like a lot of those before. They were quite unique. They were doing something in a bit of a different way. You could tell it was one person creating the whole line and that he had a certain style, and that was very much his own style, which I appreciate and I like. And I would also say that they have the coolest looking bottles that I've seen in this entire year. I think their presentation is on point. The bottles look very, very cool. The naming is great. If I could suggest a couple to check out, maybe Mr. Bozhnikov's Purple Hat and Faith Sultan Mehmed. So even though I didn't rush out and buy them, I think they're doing something a little bit different and worth checking out. You might find something you really like. One brand I checked out this year was Sonoma Sent Studio from America. The perfumer is called Lori. I thought I communicated a little bit through email, and she seems really lovely, like just a genuine lovely woman. I felt like she was very real, and her perfume that she creates is real. And what I mean by that is she's just authentic. She makes simple but very pretty, very nicely balanced perfume. Some of her work is all natural, some is mixed media. You can see that on the website, it's very clear which is which. I think they're worth checking out. If you like natural perfumery, check out her natural range. Again, although there was nothing that really grabbed me and excited me enough to buy it, I do think they're worth checking out. You might find something that you really like there, and I think she's worth mentioning. She's lovely, and I appreciate, you know, someone doing something so, you know, to touch and by hand. Everything is done by her herself on a small scale, and it's independent. She's not influenced by anyone or anything. She does her own thing, and she's genuine, and I think that's important, and she's worth checking out and supporting. If I had to give one recommendation of one of my favourites from her line, it would have been Pacific Forest. I think is really nice. Pacific Forest was more kind of sweet, resinous. There's a lot of resins there, slightly coniferous and piney, a little bit unusual, a little bit incensey as well, but that was probably my favourite from the line. So this year I've spent a lot of time in Dubai working away offshore, and you know, some of my videos suffered a little bit because I've had so long away that I couldn't do as much content, but I have smelled a lot of fragrances this year. I've passed through a lot of airports, I smelled so many new releases, and really, honestly, I have not bought a single bottle other than one house. There's nothing that I wanted to buy. I'm finding that my taste is probably even more picky now than it was when I started, which was pretty picky when I started, let's be honest. And I struggle having too much excitement for perfume at the moment. I'm a little bit jaded with the whole industry, I guess. A lot of things smell the same, a lot of things are copies of other things. There's trends that I don't like, there's common notes that are used a lot of the time that I don't like, and I know people get sick of me talking about synthetics, but there's certain synthetics I smell all the time that I just don't like. And so I really struggle to have enthusiasm and excitement for a lot of fragrances, because when I smell them, they do nothing for me. Genuinely, I can smell thousands of fragrances, and you know, I'm lucky to be enamored with one of them. And I guess in a way that is good for me, because it means my bank balance is bigger and I don't have a ridiculous sized collection because I am so picky. But it's also difficult to create videos, and it's difficult to have passion, because the passion is kind of faded with the illusion being spoiled. And I think part of that is my journey into trying to teach myself how to create perfume and familiarizing myself with lots of notes. And you know, I want to create my own house one day. That is a dream of mine. That will become reality. That will happen. I don't know when, but it will at some point. But the problem is, when you delve into this passion to this extent, where you have, you know, hundreds of oils, and you can recognize synthetics and raw materials, and so when you smell perfumes, you, instead of having a magical journey of, oh, this smells of this, instead of smelling that and it taking you somewhere, what it does is you go, oh, I recognize this element, I recognize this aldehyde, I recognize this synthetic, I recognize this. And that's what you focus on, and you're like, I don't like it, you know, I'm not going to wear that, I know what it is. The magic is ruined. It's like watching a magic trick and knowing how it's done. The excitement isn't there, is it? That's the best way to put it, I think. So for me, a lot of the illusion is lost, a lot of the magic is lost. It takes something really special to excite me. So that brings me to the last part of the video. What has given me excitement? What has fueled my passion and given me a little bit of hope again? And you know, the answer is House of Matriarch. Not everybody is going to agree with me, not everybody likes this house, not everybody is going to share my taste, but that's all I can talk about. That's all I can share, is what I love and what my taste is. That's what this channel is about. It's about me. It's a selfish channel. You know, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not a salesman. I'm not sponsored or paid by this company. I just genuinely love them. And I think Christy Michelle is, in my opinion, in the world right now, she's the most talented, naturally gifted perfumer that I've ever come across. I have never found a house that I have connected this strongly with, period. I mean, for me to like almost everything in the collection is insane. It really is insane, because I can smell every other house in the world, and I is lucky if I like one. This company is what I've spent my personal hard-earned money on, and believe me when I say it is hard-earned. You know, in 100-degree heat in Dubai, sweating for 12 hours a day, I earn my money, and this is what I choose to spend it on. There's been so many good releases this year. I'm going to go through all of them, I guess, because that's, you know, what I spent my money on. The first one being The Longing, which was a collaboration with Joseph Sagona. So good I bought 2 bottles because I knew it was gone once it was gone, a limited edition. This one contains jasmine, honey, oud, plum and butter, and it's the only perfume that's ever made my mouth water. Like, literally when I smell it, my mouth just floods with water. Like, it's just insanely tasty to me. I get a lot of the honey and the butter mixing with the jasmine. Oh my god, it's just straight away, it's delicious. I bought 2 bottles of that. Fantastic. In my opinion, one of the best perfumes created this year out of any house. Stunning release. Next up was Antimony, and I got the one with the beautiful cartouche. You can see there. This is a completely unique incense fragrance. I've never smelled an incense fragrance like this. It's got so many exotic, kind of unusual notes to it that just makes it incredibly unique, that I even struggle how to describe this fragrance. It is more of a natural incense. It's not a smoky incense. This has got a note of ash, that I believe there's actually like sandalwood ash in here. So it does smell kind of ashy. There's some unusual sweetness from some unusual kind of exotic notes. There's some strange unusual florals in here. Some strange unusual woods. There's just a lot of different unusual kind of elements to this fragrance that smells completely unique. I've never smelled anything like this. If you like incense, this is worth checking out. I haven't done a full review yet, but I will do. Stunning incense fragrance, and like I say, extremely unique. Another one I got this year was Ryan's collaboration with a beautiful horseshoe based on the Game of Thrones. This one I love wearing. This one suits me really well. This is more unique in terms of not everyone is going to like this. This is more of a specific niche taste. This uses a note of dry hay mixed with a very soft, supple, almost polished brown leather. There's some little dark woods there in the base, but you need to enjoy the note of hay and brown leather to enjoy this fragrance. I think it's beautiful, and it wears like a second skin on me. That's how well it suits me and how well it works on my skin. It feels like this could be like my natural kind of body odor, if that makes sense. It smells like a second skin, but it's beautiful. Moving on, I have bought lots from this company this year. La Olive. This is an old release that got released in 2017, but it's an older fragrance. This is all built around jasmine and sandalwood. There's multiple different varieties of jasmine in here, not a single one, but this is beautiful. The way it combines with the sandalwood is creamy and kind of sexy, to be honest. And you know, I'm actually not a huge fan of jasmine in general, but this one works really well. And sandalwood being one of my favourite notes in perfume, the way this combines is very elegant and completely unisex. A woman or a man can wear this. And it's elegant, it's beautiful, it's simple, but it's just gorgeous. And again, pointing out that I paid for this myself with my own money. Another collaboration, Tukata Tao for Timmy from Imagine Scent. This has become my favourite summer fragrance this year. This is a really unique kind of fragrance. It has a little bit of tuberose, white floral, but it's mixed with tropical fruits. There's like mango in here, and there's almost like a warm sand accord, which is very unusual, and it kind of gets tasty and a little bit gourmand in the dry down. There's almost like a custard kind of vanilla-y coconut kind of thing going on in the base that's just kind of tasty, but it's tropical fruits and tropical flowers, and it smells lovely. I mean, it's really, really good. The performance was pretty good on me for a summer fragrance, and I think excellent. I'm looking forward to wearing this in the hotter weather. I really don't own many summer fragrances. I only have a couple, and they're gone in like less than an hour on my skin because they're predominantly citrus based. This is the only summer fragrance that I have that isn't citrus based, and smells wonderful in the summer. I really like it. Another that I bought from Mate Shark was the Twin Peaks collection. I bought this completely blind because there was no samples. I just trusted, because I like so many, that I would like these, and I wasn't wrong. I like everyone in the collection. There's 3 in this collection: Futures Past, Red Room, and World of Blue. World of Blue knocks my socks off. I mean, it is stunning. If you said to me, Peter, what's the epitome of elegance in perfume, I would go World of Blue. Like, it smells so elegant. That's the best word to describe it. It uses real, genuine iris, which is incredibly expensive. Very few people use real iris in any quantity because it's so expensive. But my god, it smells like no iris perfume I've ever smelled, because iris, again, is not a note that I usually like, and most people, you know, use ionones and synthetic replacements because the real is so expensive. Christy uses genuine real iris, and it smells gorgeous. It's so luxurious. It is a velvety, smooth, cloudy, buttery gorgeousness, slightly sweet, and just incredibly elegant. Red Room, a cedar lover's dream. If you like cedarwood, get the Red Room, because wow, I mean, it's bright red cedar. That's it, it's just cedar. It's amazing. Futures Past smells like the forest floor. Very coniferous, green, leafy, earthy. You get soil, you get woods, you get green leaves. Incredibly photorealistic of a forest. Yeah, I'm so glad I got that, and it was signed and numbered. Beautiful collection. If you're a fan of Twin Peaks, worth checking out. My personal favourite is World of Blue. The 2 newest ones that I bought recently are Sacré Tabac Sucré, which is, again, an older fragrance from the collection that's just been moved up into the new collection, but it's new to me. It was one that I've just purchased recently in the last month. And this smells like apple shisha, like an apple hookah pipe. There's a beautiful apple accord in here, or an apple note, mixed with tobacco. But the tobacco, again, I'm not a fan of tobacco in general in fragrances. Christy has this talent of making fragrances with notes that I don't like typically and making them enjoyable for me, which is interesting. I don't expect to like a lot of these fragrances, to be honest, because the notes I don't usually like, but the way Christy does them, I love them. I mean, obviously I wouldn't spend my money on them if I didn't, you know, but I just love this one. It suits me very well. Obviously I share, I guess, a very similar taste in general to Christy, for me to connect and like so many of her releases to want to spend my money on all these. But this is gorgeous. Apple tobacco. This one I feel suits me very well, and I enjoy wearing it. Perfect for the cooler weather, autumn, winter, and again, unisex. The last one I purchased was Sacré Noir, another one with Joseph Sagona. I just reviewed this one. This is amazing. I don't know what to say. It's very green, like a dark green. And again, I'm not a fan of green fragrances, but this one is really good. She does that a lot to me, where I typically don't like notes, and she'll make it and it'll be the best thing I've smelled. But yeah, dark green, holly note mixed with warm, spicy, sweet resins and dried fruits. Gorgeous, with some dark woods and oud. Stunning. Those are the only things I've purchased this year in 2017. Nothing else has struck me enough to want to buy it. Those ones I personally love. I'm not saying that you will, I'm not recommending them, they're just what I love and what I enjoy and what I've spent my money on personally. Christy, to me as an artist, I feel like they have integrity, and I don't see that very often in this industry. I see greedy people, I see perfume that's not had much thought into it, I see perfume that's copying other things, I see perfume that's cheaply made. I see money in business, and it's nothing to do with art, it's nothing to do with perfume. Christy is, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, is a genuine artist. She cares about perfume and the craft and making something relevant again. You know, making something unique and different from everybody else and not following trends. Doing her own thing and doing it fucking really well. She's the best perfumer in the world to me. She's my personal biggest inspiration. And simply put, the main reason is they smell awesome to me. They smell amazing to me. They take me somewhere. When I smell them, they transport me somewhere better. They make me feel good. And that is a very personal human thing. Taste is extremely subjective. they might not take you anywhere, they might not give you anything, but they do for me. A lot of them have very good memories because I took a lot of them traveling with me, but even the new ones, they make my life feel a little bit less grey. They give me a little bit of colour, they make me feel good, and they smell amazing to me. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or says about this brand, I love them, and I'm going to share that. I hope one day in the future, when I release my own brand, my own house, that Christy might smell my work one day and have the reaction that I have when I smell her work. I have like wow reactions when I smell her fragrances, and I hope, I wish that one day that she'll have that reaction with something that I made for myself. That might not ever happen, but I wish it would. I would love that, because she is my peer. She's someone I look up to and admire and hugely respect, and I'm thankful that she's around because she's given me a bar to aim for. She's given me motivation and inspiration to be better. I think she's steered my future into where it's going. She's given me a lot of fire and a lot of passion and a lot of drive to get to where I want to go. I would like to thank House of Matriarch and thank you, Christy Michelle, for being around, for just existing. Like, thank you. And thank you for you falling into this passion and for you creating these fragrances and inspiring people. I'm sure I'm not the only one you have inspired. I'm sure you inspire a lot of people, and that is important. I hope one day maybe I get to sit down with her one day and we'll maybe do an interview for this channel and have a conversation. Maybe that'll happen one day, I don't know, maybe it won't, but that would be nice. What I vision for myself and my future is that I hope I can create a house that gives other people as much enjoyment as I get from people like Matriarch, and maybe I'll be lucky enough to inspire the next wave of self-taught perfumers, even if I inspire just one person to create, you know, their own house one day and help carve their life path like Christy is shaping mine. I think that is an amazing thing. I think ultimately self-taught perfumers will have the biggest meaningful footprint in the future of perfume, and hopefully we see a movement stepping away from mass market branding and overpriced rubbish and coming back to more human, real integrity and passion and fire and something that means something and that is real. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for watching my content. Thank you for being patient with me while I've been away working, and thank you for building a little community around my channel, like a family. A lot of you know, come back and comment, and it is like a family, like we're friends, and thank you for that. That's special. I'm going to end this video on a little bit of wisdom that I have learnt this year, is taking opportunity when it's in front of you, because it's so easy to not take it, to let it pass because you're scared. And it's sad that that happens, but it does, and I'm sure I'm not the only one it happens to. I'm sure it affects a lot of people, and it determines the direction of our life, which way it goes, the friends we make, the lovers we have, the connections we make along the way, all boil down to moments in time where we have a choice, where we can either do something or not do it, and depending how that goes can affect your life quite dramatically. And it's important to make the most of these opportunities and chances, because sometimes they only come around once. Maybe, that chance was the only chance in your life that is going to happen. And if you fuck that up, you've lost out on that, and that's going to hurt you. That's going to be really upsetting. So what I've learnt, because I still miss chances today, I still have fear. I still get scared of taking chances. I'm not some super invincible, super confident guy that just does everything. I still hold myself back out of fear, and I wish I didn't, but I do. I can't help that. I'm growing as a person, and I grow every year, and I learn from mistakes, and hopefully I get a little bit wiser from it. But one thing I want to pass on, and one thing that I want to remind myself of, is that when you're faced with a chance, an opportunity that you want to take, instead of letting your insecurities and fear and being scared take control of you and stop you from making that move, stop you from taking the action that you want to take, instead of letting that fear turn into regret, just stop a second and just think to yourself, it's the chances that we don't take in life that we regret the most. And just think about that for a second, that if you don't take this action right now, this might be the thing that you regret the most in life. And you don't want that. You don't want that regret. So next time you have that choice, that chance, that opportunity looking you in the face, don't be scared of it. Just do what your heart wants to do. If your heart wants to take action and do something, just do it. Just go for it. Because it is far better to have a memory that you took a chance than to have a memory that you didn't. I hope you remember that next time you have a chance in front of you. I hope I will. I'm going to try and take every chance I can get in the future and have less regrets, because you know, I don't like that feeling of regret and missing chances. I think it's the thing that hurts the most when you think about and look back on your life, the things that you could have done and didn't because you were scared. Stop being scared, stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing. Having a brain that thinks of everything that can go wrong instead of everything that can go right is damaging to your life. And it's important to rewire your brain and to tell that off and go for it. You know, enjoy your life, take every chance you can get and live life. That's what life is about, is enjoyment and to take chances and have new experiences. That is incredibly important and will make you a better person and make you a stronger, happier person. Please take as many chances as you can get and have no regrets. I will see you next time with another video. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys.